Peter, did you guys do anything to kind of celebrate this feat?
No. The guys are just getting shakes and protein balls and meals to get ready for the rest of the week. We got to get prepared for our next game. I mean, this was our objective to get to this place, but we have a lot of work to do still. We just got the maximum points, at least, that we could get in our division, and that's what we wanted to do.
Kind of stating the obvious here, but what's just the significance of getting that #1 seed and home field advantage throughout the West?
I mean, I think it's a lot of things. I think it says that, I mean, we're a pretty good team. It says that we're consistent about our business. It says that we can do it in a lot of different ways, you know, going down a man like we did, being able to not only defend at that point, but also be able to get a game winner. Says a lot about the group. And then, you know, the final piece is that this game tonight was, as I said to the guys, this was not a league match, it was a final. And I think we played it like a final, which was great. We left everything out on the field, and we were victorious. That's a good thing. So I think it's a little confidence. We've had some pretty good games here as of late, and I hope the form continues on as we move into our next game and the first game of the playoffs.
I know that you had said you were going to go for the win, even though you only needed a draw. But once it gets down a man and the game's tied there, and I think about the hour mark, and any second-guessing that or a chance to maybe change your strategy there, and why the decision to press onward?
Well, I don't think we can, you know, mentality is a really interesting thing. It's not like you just flick a switch and all of a sudden you change mentality. It's not that way. It takes a long time to build confidence. It takes a long time to build mentality. It takes a long time to build the culture. And what our guys were is that they were disciplined at that moment to still be able to do the right things at the right time. I mean, we were very good tactically when we had to go to a 4-4-1. And everybody, you know, fought for every single ball. And that's the reason why you get a result. More importantly, we would have got a result with a 1-1 draw, but they took advantage of the opportunity when it presented itself, and we finished it off. And that was even more in our favor, because now they had to even send more guys forward, press more on. You know, we could have maybe stuck another one in as well.
What did you think about the penalty kick call and the red card to Seth? I mean, did you get an explanation as to why that wasn't maybe a yellow for the double jeopardy?
I was told that when there's a handball that denies a goal-scoring opportunity, it's an automatic red. I don't know that to be the case. I will be checking on that. I'm not sure if that's accurate. And I had a quick look. I'm not sure it's clear and obvious that it is a handball, because he didn't call it a handball. So then it has to be clear and obvious that it is a handball. And so the two different angles that I saw, I didn't necessarily – I almost think it hit him up here. But, again, I haven't seen video enough, so I wouldn't say that, you know, quote me and say, oh, it's not a handball. I just haven't seen enough video. But what I've seen up till now, I'm not sure I could say it was clear and obvious.
And then Daniel got the winner. It's 4 goals in the last 3 games of this huge stretch for you guys. I mean, what has his kind of return to the lineup and the form meant for you guys going forward?
Yeah. If you look at our bench tonight, our bench was Sendejas, Fontas, Croizet, Busio, Rubio, Girso, and Namath. I mean, that's a heck of a bench in this league. And so when you just look across at all the guys, and if somebody is either out of form or we want to make an adjustment based on personnel or whatever, we have a lot of guys that we can put in the game, and they can all have an impact. And that's if you want to win, if you want to win a trophy or trophies, you have to be able to have a bunch of guys on your team like that. And so right now we do. And if somebody drops out of form, or if somebody, you know, like today, Seth got a red, then we had to put Riohan back there, who did a very good job when he came in. You know, that's what we're looking for. It's got to be the next guy, be on the step up at that moment.
Coach, Kyrie told me this week at training that one of the biggest aspects of keeping a strong mentality at this point is to not let other teams shake them. So how did a game where there's so many opportunities to get shaken, what did you like the most from your team's response?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, I would say, is that it's one thing to give up a penalty. It's another thing to now you get a red card with it. And so now more than likely they're going to score. Maybe not always the case if Tim's in goal, but more than likely they will score. But they score, and now you're down. Now you're also down a man, and the momentum really shifts, or can. And what I was really impressed with is that I believe and I said this in the Dallas game, I think the difference in the Dallas game, the difference in the second half against Vancouver, is that we outworked the opponent. And I believe today that we did the same again. Don't get me wrong, LA worked really hard in the game, but we worked a little harder to get what we got. And we knew, to your point earlier, we could have tied the game and been through and still would have been first place. But our mentality is not built that way to go in and try and get a tie. And the other thing, too, is I think we have an obligation to the fans to win here at home and to show them that we appreciate the fact that they're with us. And I also believe that, normally people say that in this sport that the fans were the 12th man. They actually were the 11th man for a good part of the game after Seth got thrown out.
300th regular season win for this club and the first place in the Western Conference to finish. What does this say about the team going forward now into the playoffs?
We have a bye in the first round, and now we got to get ready for the next game. I mean, all those things are great, but right now it's the present. The present is we got to get ready for our first playoff game.
Peter, there have been many moments in this season. Is there one that stands out to you that told you this team's different? That this team has the strengths that it
Yeah,
should
very
show?
early on. I think it was the second game of the season we played against Chicago. Mm-hmm. And we're up 2-0. They come back 2-2, 3-2. Yeah. And then we come back and win 4-3 on the road in the style that we did, the way that we did, the intensity, the enthusiasm in the guys. There's a lot of guys in the field that hadn't been here before, so I didn't know how they would react. I didn't know how, a lot of times, Michael Jordan said something many, many years ago, is that for him it was always important to know what a guy would be like once they went into battle together. And he very rarely wanted to go into battle with somebody he didn't know. And so what I would say is that was very early in the season. Those are early battles. In a lot of respects, everybody doesn't pay a lot of attention to them, even though that they're there. But these games mean a lot. But I think that's a pretty good foreshadowing of even today, of showing that the team is resilient and has a strong mentality.
Similar question, but focused on Kyrie. Is there a moment during the season where Kyrie you knew that he was going to be the player that he became for this team?
Well, look, I had the fortunate opportunity. I scouted him when he was in college, and I remember coming back and I told Z, I was like, hey, I saw this guy, and I'll tell you what, I think he would fit into the way that we play. So then there's another trip, I sent him out there, he came back and he agreed, but we just couldn't get the spot to get there. And so we were always watching him from afar, and we were able to make the move this year to get him. It was an important aspect. What I will tell you is that he was playing as a winger, but I've always seen him as a number 9. And it took him a little time to kind of get into, the model of play and his understanding his role and responsibility within the group. But it's been a lot of games. I think we missed him when he got hurt there for a while because he was just coming back in. I don't know if you remember, it was the game where we came back. I think it was against Houston. We won 3-2. Then we had the next game, and and then he gets hurt, and that hurt us for a little while. Don't get me wrong, everybody else has stepped up and have been good, but having him in there gives us another physical presence that's a little different.
Busio scored last game. Can you tell us a little bit about his development and what you felt when you finally saw him score?
Obviously we're extremely proud of our pro pathway, if you will. We think that it's one thing to have a good academy staff. It's another thing to have a USL team that have it in the structure, but it's another thing to have the coaching staff that we do, and they really understand what their role is. They could be totally different. They could only be about themselves and trying to win, and they understand the development of the players. And I think that not only a signing of Boost, but Boost's opportunity to kind of play with the Swope Park Rangers, get minutes, sort of cut his teeth slowly, if you will, not being thrown to the wolves here at this level. But his development, his transition, and his adaptation to this level has been fantastic. It's really interesting because we had a plan last year going into this year, and honestly, after maybe like 3 weeks, we had to blow it up and start over because what we thought, it just wasn't. I don't want to say it wasn't working. He graduated really quickly through that, and so I think it sends a really good sign for the other guys that are now coming through. That shows that they all have a big opportunity. I mean, we were getting ready to throw a boost in the game tonight at the end there because we needed another guy in the middle of the midfield. We thought that Azus was going to have to come off. We were going to throw him in the middle and put Roger out wide. So I think it tells you what we think of him, you know, and all the other guys that are coming through as well.
Anything else?